Hey folks, Mark here from Mark's Old Scale Trains. Wanted to do a video today on an item that I recently brought into the collection. And this here is an MTH Railking scale Union Pacific MP15DC switcher. Now I've added several items to my collection recently due to the closing of MTH here later this year. I wanted to grab some items that I've been looking at for a while. So some of these items have been out for a little while, so it's not something out of a brand new catalog, but they're relatively recent. And my idea behind bringing some of these in is just to grab them before they're gone. As we know, MTH is starting to become pretty thin from either your local retailer or retailers online. So I decided to grab this Union Pacific. I'm a big fan of Norfolk Southern and Union Pacific, and I figured I'd bring this into my collection. Now, I have a Norfolk Southern MP15DC switcher that I had bought maybe 10 years ago from Jim's Train Shop in Pennsylvania when he was still around. And it's been a great engine. The detail is fantastic. I don't normally bring in anything MTH Railking. I wasn't really a big fan of it, but when they did their Railking scale line, there were some engines that actually had appealed to me, and this is one of them. Now, what I really like about these engines, the Railking scale line, is it's basically a Premier line engine with the dual flywheel motors in the unit, the detail that we see on a Premier engine, but it does lack some features and it does lack some detail. But if I can forgive a third rail in the middle of my track, I'm sure I can forgive some of the details here on this engine. But the engine itself, the first thing that I noticed when I pulled it out of the box is the stairs going up to the deck. You don't see any drainage holes on them. You typically will see that on an MTH Premier line. Here, you don't see that. I mean, it's fine. It's fine for me, especially if you weather it. You don't really look at that too much. But all the separately applied details, the grab irons, the handrails, you've got the treaded walkway here on the deck. The trucks are really nicely detailed. Overall, it looks great. So I was real happy to bring this into my layout. This particular engine, its item number is 30-20593-1, and it's from the October Volume 1 2019 catalog. Now, there are a few other things that you're not going to find on an MTH Railking scale that you would on a Premier line. One being a smoke unit. This unit does not have a smoke unit. It does have a front and rear LED lighting, which is very nice, and it is under the Rule 17 prototypical lighting operation. But there are no cab interior lights. There's also no lighted number boards. And there's also, this is designed just for 3-rail track. On the bottom of the engine, there's just a volume control switch. There is no 2-rail switch, or there's no DCC switch. So you're strictly dealing with just the MTH DCS operation for this unit. I ended up picking this one up from Train World. It's the only place that I could find it. Our local hobby store is closing, so their selection is quite thin, and that is the last really train shop here in my area. So I guess I'll be doing a lot more shopping online. But this particular engine, I was very glad to bring it into my collection. It is Protosound 3.0. It sounds fantastic. The speakers that they started using in some of their current engines, diesel engines, steam, just really had kind of stepped it up a notch. So I really enjoyed that. But I will start this up, have you listen to it, and then I'll try to get some running videos done too. So there you have it. That's the MP15DC switcher Railking scale from MTH. And I didn't mention it, but they do have the included cab chatter. I know some people like it, some people don't. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it really adds much to it, but that is there available if you want. I always try to shut it off, but for some reason it always seems to come back on either way. But it is there, and you can turn it off with a DCS remote or your phone if you're using the Wi-Fi app. But there we have it. That's the MTH Railking scale. Probably the last one I'll be bringing into the collection unless something crops up and happens for MTH in their tooling, and you know, but we'll see. That's yet to be seen. So, but that's it for now. We'll get some running video in here, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.